YouTube, how the heck you doing? This is Corey here with Watcher of Realms. This is going to be the Hotset guide. So Hotset is an incredibly good hero, but she's also incredibly rare. So I think based off the numbers, you're more likely to get like a Torador than you are to go ahead and get a Hotset. So let's just go ahead and get straight to it. We're going to go through the skills, the awakenings, the artifact, and then the gear. The gear is a little bit tricky because of what you're trying to do with her. It just depends on what settings, right? So first, we're going through the skills. Her physical attack is it deals 60% damage to the target and 20% damage to one nearby enemy 2 consecutive times, prioritizing targets with low defense. So flyers, things like that, bugs. She's going to primarily focus on those units. The next one is one of her passives, which is Soul Torment. So Soul Torment is an attack where the attack bounces from one more target and the total bounce damage increases by 9%. Each enemy hit also suffers from defense reduction for 10 seconds. Now, I believe whenever this is fully skilled up, you get to about 30% defense reduction. So she has the highest, I believe, in the game. Next to maybe Yuri. Yuri might also tie. Then you have her other passive, which is Ghastly Stealth, which is whenever she's deployed, she gains invisibility for about 40 seconds, and each kill increases her damage by 5%, and it stacks up to 5 times. This all lasts for about 10 seconds where you're going ahead and getting those buffs, but whenever she's in that stealth mode, she's very dangerous. You kind of want to avoid attacking her during that time period. And then Ghastly Burst. This is her ultimate, where it deals damage up to 5 enemies nearby. It deals 230% AoE damage every 0.3 seconds, and it lasts for 4 seconds. So when it says Ghastly Burst, it really is just that. She will just go ahead and kind of nuke anything that is around her. It's just gone. As long as you have her built properly, nothing really survives it. Now, we're going to go over to the YouTube. Pardon the brief interruption, my bad. But right now, SmileOne is going ahead and offering a 10% discount from March 7th to March 17th. For anybody that goes ahead and uses the link in the description, you get additional rewards as well. You're getting additional W gold, you're getting additional diamonds, additional auto battles, additional stamina, right? So there's a lot of really good things. If you are going to go ahead and summon, go ahead, use the link in the description. If you're not going to summon, that's more than fine. Thank you. Awakenings, and her awakenings are kind of one of those things why it pushes her over the line as to why so many people view her as a really strong hero. So her first awakening is attack triggered bounce damage increased by 5%. So that's off of her Soul Torment. So we're getting some additional kind of bonuses from that. The next one is her A2, which is a 300 attack. That's really standard. That's nothing significant. The next one is Ghastly Stealth duration is increased by 10 seconds. So at this point, you're getting 50 seconds of invisibility, which is going to help you in any PvE content, especially Void Rift. It's going to really help you in Guild v Guild. It's a very strong skill. Taking up time is one of the most valuable things. And also, it gives her protection, right? She can't be hit. Now, the next one is Penetration 8%. Fairly standard for pretty much every marksman. Usually really good. And then her final one, which is Ghastly Burst duration, is increased by 1 second. When you think about the damage boost that you get from this ult, and just having it last 1 extra second, that's about 3 extra hits of 230% AoE damage. It's good. It is definitely good. Now, we're going to go to the artifacts. Now, the artifacts, there's really 2 that you kind of want to go ahead and use with Hotset. The first one is Idril's Gaze. The reason why you want to use Idril's Gaze is dealing critical damage has a 25% chance to ignore 40% of the target's defense and magic resistance for, let's see, I believe it's 3 seconds. That's good because she's already going ahead and proccing that defense reduction. This is almost adding to that and giving her additional cut through. So she is very potent in Idril's Gaze. Really, like honestly, if you're using Idril's Gaze, you will probably use this every single map, mode, everything, besides maybe Gear Dungeon 2. In Gear Dungeon 2, that's the only time you really go ahead and make an alternative choice, which is where you start using Ixra's Chalice. The reason for that is because Ixra's Chalice gives you additional sustain, and she's pretty much able to deal with the top side by herself. If you have her with Wrath or Torador, she's going to be able to tank, survive, and deal with it. And that's where you'll see Ixor's Chalice. But otherwise, Idril's Gaze is your go-to every single time. Then, when we go to the gear, this is pretty standard whenever you're going ahead and building any DPS, right? As long as they don't have an exclusive artifact on the left side, you're going to go with Warlord. Now, with Warlord, you want to go ahead and put as much attack bonus as you can. So in this case, the ideal god roll would be something like, this is attack, attack bonus, crit rate, attack speed, crit damage. That would be a perfect god roll for this. And then on the other side, right, this is going to be pretty much a god roll, but you would want flat attack in this position, and then you're looking really good. Now, when it comes to the right side set, there's two options. You can go ahead and run Infernal Roar if you want to boost up her attack damage from just her basic attacks. That is super normal. Actually, that's probably what most people tend to do. If you see things pop up here, it's because I'm doing a farm run. But basically, Infernal Roar, your go-to for most things if you want to focus on her basic attacks. You can, however, swap her to Soulbound Arcana if you're really just focusing on, I want her AoE damage, her ultimate, to do as much damage as possible. Maybe you're looking for her to be like your cleanup. Then you're going to swap her over to Soulbound Arcana. But in both sets, your main subsets are going to be the same thing. You want attack bonuses, your main set, or your main roll. Then you're going to want crit rate, crit damage, attack speed, attack for all of it. You kind of just want to run it down. Now, if you are running her for Gear Dungeon 2, that's when you want to make a little bit of a swap, because remember, you're going to go ahead and use Ixor's Chalice, so you're going to have additional sustain. And you want her to be a little bit tanky so she doesn't get wiped out by Volca, so you'll go ahead and put her in defense percent, HP percent, and then she'll be able to just tank the entire map throughout. All Volca's AoEs, she won't die. She'll do enough damage to take care of the top side. So that's your like swap in terms of gear. Now, overall, Hotset is probably, she's not in the top 5, but she used to be in the top 5 in terms of just strongest units in the game. But the reason for that is because she provides defense reduction, she provides a really good source of damage, she provides a really, really strong AoE. So you'll see Hotset in Arena, definitely Arena. You'll see her in Guild v Guild because she's always going to be paired with the Torador teams. You can use her in Gear Raid 1. You can use her in Gear Raid 3. Actually, you definitely use her in Gear Raid 3 because she will go ahead and deal with the right side pretty much all by herself. And then Gear Raid 2, she has some viability, but you have other alternatives that tend to work better. But by and large, you won't see her in guild bosses just because while she does a good amount of damage, there's a lot of other units that really do a lot of single target damage, and that's the whole point of the guild bosses. But any other content, right, she has at least some potential viability. So if you went ahead and pulled her, if you got lucky, congrats, you got one of the top 10, maybe top 15 units in the game. See ya.